Hi everyone, Ben Valentine here. I thought I'd briefly touch on the news surrounding Joshua Harris's recent announcement that he no longer identifies with mainstream Christianity. Just a bit of background for those of us who don't know. Most of us would probably be familiar with Joshua Harris as the author of the best-selling book I Kiss Dating Goodbye, where he put forward the notion that Christians should avoid romantic relationships based on dating and instead embrace a more traditional approach based on courtship. I myself first read the book sometime around 2005 or 2007. At the time, I just took it all in. Mind you, I had not read any other books on the subject of dating or relationships because, as far as I knew, there were no other authors who talked about it. The fact that it was written by a younger man around my own age who was not yet a pastor had its appeal. But again, that was many years ago when I was more spiritually naive. But let me repeat that last point. I Kiss Dating Goodbye was first published when Harris was in his early 20s and not yet a pastoral leader, i.e., the book was written wholly from a layperson's perspective. But even so, local churches would nonetheless embrace his teaching wholesale as a precedent for how relationships should be understood. Not surprisingly, though the book would become a runaway bestseller, much of the negative reviews actually came from more seasoned pastors. Although Joshua Harris would later be trained and ordained as a senior pastor of a local church within the Sovereign Grace movement, what I fear is that having been thrust into the limelight of popular Christendom as a rookie would only lead to a spiritual shipwreck later on in life. In 2017, he gave a TED Talk where he admitted that after hearing testimonies from Christians who had tried to put his teachings into practice, only to walk away feeling spiritually and emotionally hurt, he began to retract his own teachings on the subject of dating, courtship, and relationships. On July 16 this year, he posted on Instagram that he and his wife Shannon were separating. I quote, "We are separating and will continue our life together as friends. In recent years, some significant changes have taken place in both of us. It is with sincere love for one another and understanding of our unique story as a couple that we are moving forward with this decision." Obviously, Joshua Harris no longer holds to a biblical view regarding the sanctity of marriage. 2 weeks later, he would load a post on his Instagram. "The information that was left out of our arrangement is that I've undergone a massive shift in regard to my faith in Jesus. The popular phrase for this is deconstruction. The biblical phrase is falling away. By all the measurements that I have for defining a Christian, I am not a Christian. Many people tell me that there is a different way to practice faith, and I want to remain open to this, but I'm not there now." Now, obviously, this did not all happen overnight, but I dare say the seeds of backsliding were actually sown by way of him already being popular as a young author, then being taken in by a church and groomed for a senior ministry position without prior preparation or testing beforehand. James 3:1 tells us, "Not many of you should become teachers, my fellow believers, because you know that we who teach will be judged more strictly." This is why I personally disagree with churches who incorporate leadership development as an expected component of disciple making. That is, having someone take on a leadership position as part of their spiritual growth, given that 1. Not every Christian will necessarily have a pastoral gifting, 1 Corinthians 12, and 2. Not everyone in the congregation will meet the criteria that qualifies one as an overseer, 1 Timothy 3, Titus 1. Confusion arises when, instead of following the biblical precedent for the appointment of church government, including the qualifications of elders and deacons, people are put into upfront positions on the basis of natural charm, charisma, skill, rather than the former, or, in context of Joshua Harris, having written a book on a subject that had not really received much airtime. Not only does this harm the local church, it stunts the spirituality of the individual in question. And I fear that is what has happened with Joshua Harris. I'm Benjamin Valentine. Thank you for watching.